All right.
YouTube, what up?
What up, YouTube? Here we are. It's Matt. It's Chris. Six Wins Media.
SWS. Swiss.
Swiss.
Oh, well, the media. What was I thinking?
Six Wins.
Yeah.
Pick six, bracket guys, whatever you want to say. So here's the thing. Full disclosure, here's what happens behind the scenes. It's just me and Matt doing all this stuff. We run these polls. We run them every day. We try to keep up with the YouTube videos, editing, all that stuff. But Matt has a job. I don't have a job anymore. I'm unemployed. Feels great. First time in a long, long time. Here's what we're going to do. Badass animals.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. We made this bracket. We put it up to polls, as we always do. Every single matchup is done. It's in the books. So we're going to go through the bracket. We're going to do some riffing. We're a couple of animal experts.
Yep.
We're going to tell you out of all the animals, which one won the most badass animal.
Yeah.
And rather than doing it in a series of videos that we did for like best wrestlers, we're just going to give it all to you here. If you want to come.
Can you handle it? Can you handle it all?
Grab a cup of coffee, grab a LaCroix, grab a
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
It's
We're going to be here. We're going to be here a little bit. So if you just like us chit-chatting, come hang out.
Yeah.
Pop a comment in. If you want to just know who won this thing, I don't care about them. Fast forward it all the way to the end because we're going to reveal it, but we're going to chit chat first. So
yeah, two things before we get started. Chris said, he's got some time off from a job right now, so that's even more reason to give us all your money. Just let us know how you want to do it, and we'll accept it gladly. And the second thing, he also said we are animal experts, and I can't tell you how true that statement is. I hold the Guinness World Record for being bitten by the most different animals. Nobody's been bitten by more different animals than I have, and that is not true at all.
That's awesome.
But that'd be cool, right?
Which one hurt the most?
Giraffe.
Giraffe hurt the most? You wouldn't expect that.
You wouldn't. But it's because it's so high up there, the altitude actually affects how it feels.
Oh, it's like running a marathon in the mountains.
Yeah.
It's hard to breathe.
It's harder. And so when you get bitten higher up there, it hurts more.
It hurts more. Wow.
It's 100% factual.
Even as an animal expert myself, I still learn something new.
We're all always learning. Yeah.
Mother suckers every single day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, we just got a super chat, $200 from Craig. Thanks, Craig. We appreciate it. Take you out to a nice meal.
Yeah. And an animal that you want to eat of your choice.
Any of these animals.
We're biting back.
Here's a good question. Right off the bat, which animal would you eat most? Can we share screen?
I don't know. I don't know if you can do. Oh, it looks like
that's probably sharing the link.
Yeah, sharing the link. I don't know if it's gonna be share screen.
It's all right.
Yeah, I would say I'm kind of over chicken.
Okay.
I don't know. I should just season it better. Maybe I'm not a good cook. So I'm just gonna go standard like beef. Cow beef is where it's at. If I had to choose an animal that was the only animal meat I was eating for life.
Oh, well, I actually didn't mean that as a question. I meant off of our 64 animal bracket.
Oh,
I was like, was chicken on there? Chickens are apparently super badass. They're tiny in stature, but like those chicken fights, that's not just a folk tale. That's real deal.
Those are super violent.
Ferocious.
I can't believe we forgot about that and didn't get like cocks on there. Cockfighting.
We should have put cock versus croc.
Cock versus croc. It sells itself. I guess in theory, a bull is like a cattle, livestock of some kind. But otherwise, this might not be a big surprise. I would go. I'm going to cheat here. I would say electric eel. I don't think you can eat electric eel, but you can eat eel. I lived in Japan for a few years. Eel's one of my favorite nigiri sushi. I recommend it. It's very savory, and there's always like a nice eel sauce on there. Really solid. So I'd go eel, I think, just trying to look through if there's anything else on here. American bison made our list.
Ooh,
so
bison burger?
Good big bison burger. Joe Rogan.
The Wagyu beef.
Vote for that one.
I feel like we did. Oh, elk was a 15 seed. I've had ground elk. Super good. So if I was going to eat one, I'd probably pick elk. But I've yet to have a big, juicy elk steak. That's what I really want to try.
Okay, yeah.
But apparently we have them here in Michigan. I want to hunt. I've never been hunting.
Yeah.
And I was chatting with one of my buddies, and I was like, if it were something I'd want to like get into, like ground up, how would I do it? And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you should start a long time ago. So probably missed the boat on hunting. But I just like the idea of like getting my meat from the wild as opposed to like factory farm. You know, these people have it. They pump them full of shit.
Yeah.
Stick a needle up their butt. Pump them hormones and estrogen. Like I grow boobs.
Yeah.
I'd rather
bow or firearm. What would be your hunting weapon of choice?
Probably firearm, because I just don't have the patience to perfect the bow.
What about like a crossbow? Or like some kind of mechanical bow? I almost wonder if that's probably like people that are into either, I'm guessing people that are into preserving like the hides of animals, or even potentially the quality of the meat would say like, that's probably what you want to use because it's going to leave less of an impact. I'm not a hunting expert. I'm an animal expert, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'd correct us if you know.
Yeah.
What would you think?
Yeah, I would think that's right. In fact, that is right. Being an animal expert myself, here's one thing. I don't want to go on like a vegan rant, but preachy vegans are on the worst things bracket. Spoiler alert, they did make it to the second round, which we're going to be in a few weeks.
Yeah,
a couple weeks.
Probably about 1 week.
Yeah. The vegans that say like they don't eat meat because of animal cruelty, it like kind of poses the questions like, well, then which animal cruelty are you okay with? Because do you know that like in order to like harvest those vegetables, those big machines that go through, they're grounding up mice and rodents and possums. And are you okay with insects? Because you know how many insects died? You know how many squirrels and mice die? Like all for like, you know, they say more animals die in like a pound of grain versus a pound of beef, you know? So
really?
Yeah,
wow. Oh yeah, that makes sense though.
Yeah, that's actually a real thing. But like, you know, you draw the line, no cows, no chickens. Well then, you know, if you are such bleeding heart, the only way to really do it, if that's your reason, is to grow your own shits.
Yeah, probably.
If you grow your own corn, and I got nothing to say to you, but you know, if you do it for health reasons, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
Meat is so nutrient dense that like you can't really, unless you're Daniel Bryan and you do it right, which is pretty hard to do, you're not getting the nutrients you need, and you're gonna, you know, be malnourished and whatever.
Withery raisin of a human.
Yeah, but you can do it right if you supplement and did the reiterations.
I saw bat on here, and I wish I was able to answer so quickly when you're like, best animal to eat bat meat. Let's have another pandemic.
Yeah. Oh boy. So we have 64 animals, and if you've been following us, you know at least most of these animals. If not, check out some of the polls that we put up on, you know, Twitter and all that stuff, and TikTok. And check back on our YouTube. Oh, by the way, what are we going to be doing? We're going to be removing Instagram from our repertoire, not because we don't like it, but we just saw such good growth on the other ones that Instagram isn't really doing much for us right now. Twitter's growing, YouTube's growing, TikTok's steady. So we're going to be finishing out Worst Things and just going TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. No more Instagram, sorry.
Yeah.
Animals.
Most badass animal. So we got together and kind of did a draft, and I think we felt pretty good about all the animals we got on here. Honestly, the only thing that we just brought up about like chickens, like cockfighting, is like one that, looking back, maybe should have made it on there. Some of our lower seeds were kind of like, we started to get a little comedic or silly, or it became not badass because we would win in a fight necessarily, but badass because of some skill or something it represents or things like that. So those are a lot of the kind of the lower seeds. But most of our like top 16 are 1s or 2s or 3s or 4s, or animals that are just killing machines, you know. So we're going to go through kind of region by region until we get to what our final 4 was, and then we'll kind of break that down and reveal the winner. This first region with our first overall number 1 seed that we chose, we start off with tiger. So here are some of the big hitters in this region. I'm going to say tiger, hippo, and wolf were our top 3 seeds. We also had some cool animals like cheetahs, octopi and marlins, manta rays, well known for
Steve Irwin
assassinating people. I think those were probably the ones. Bats and piranhas also like pretty cool and pretty badass. And then anything on any of these before we just kind of reveal some winners or go into a couple of the matchups and see who made it out of this round?
Yeah, like you said, different animals made it for different reasons. Like the giant tortoise, not by the typical standard badass, but they live so long and they get to be so big. That's badass.
Yeah.
Skunks. My buddy Joe had a funny joke about skunks that I think could be chiseled down into a good stand-up bit. And it's God could have made skunks like way bigger assholes. Not physically, but just me. Like, imagine having that skill where you could just spray like the most terrible scent and just doing it just to be mean.
Yeah.
They usually do it if they're scared and feel like they have to defend themselves. But yeah, if you're a skunk and you're just like, you can be like a hired assassin, and call up a skunk and be like, hey, my neighbor's being dicks. Can you go spray them? And they're like, yeah, sure. That'd be, 50 skunks dollars. And, so I thought that was, funny. Just the idea you could make, skunks could be meaner. And yeah. And I didn't know what an ibex was, but you put it on my radar. Ibex are super cool.
I felt bad picking it because we did have mountain goats and you had picked that one before me, and it is more or less a mountain goat and has a lot of the same cool qualities. So I don't know, but I always just loved its name. How many animals have an X in their name, and how many look like that mother effer?
Fox.
So Fox also does, yeah. And axolotl.
Ooh, Xavier.
Yeah. There's probably an animal named Xavier.
Probably.
So yeah. Any thoughts before we kind of break down some of the matchups and who got here? Did you think there was a favorite? Who did you think was going to come out of this region and go to the Final Four?
I thought it would be hippo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hippos are known for being just ferocious and killing machines. And I was thinking, the kind of bar, we are the bar, the metric for badass is who would win in a fight. That's what I was thinking. It seemed a little in poor taste to actually do that because then you visualize like these two animals going at it and it's kind of sick. But that's what I was thinking the whole time. Which of these would win in a fight? And hippos might be the king of all kings when it comes to winning in a fight. So my vote was hippo. What about you?
Yeah, I think I don't know how true some of these things are. They're like the things you hear and it's like, is that actually researched, or is how is this like framed, or how's this interpreted? But I have heard for like a long time that like hippos are actually like the most deadly animal. Like more often than not, like if you see a tiger and you get close to a tiger in the wild, like it's probably not going to attack you and things like that. But like a hippo, like, and even if it did, it might not kill you, whatever, you might be able to get away, but you get in that hippo territory and it doesn't want you there. Like you got no chance. I think that's the fact behind it, but I could be completely wrong. But I feel like I've heard that like hippos are like literally considered the most deadly animal because once it's going after you, you're done for.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't have a personal. I guess if I had a personal vote here, let me tell you who I thought would have come out of this region. I was thinking either tiger or wolf.
Okay.
Tiger because of its popularity. Same with wolf. But tiger because of its popularity and its perceived badassness because of its popularity. I mean, wolves are badass, but I think they're they're very representative and very symbolic. And I think a lot of people like identify like wolves either in stories or fiction or tattoos. And like, I don't know, just like a wolf resonates with people. And so I thought it would get a big bump from that. But honestly, if I was picking the animal that I think is most badass for me personally out of these 16, I'd probably go octopus because of how strange it is. And I'm just a fan of like truly weird, unique creatures. And like that is to me like badass. And I think octopus wins in a lot of fights.
Yeah.
The larger ones, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, have you ever seen those videos where they'll like get one on a boat and there'll be like a hole like this big and the octopus will like sneak towards it and then it's got no bones. So it can fit in like almost a keyhole. It can fit through anything, just little squashes at a time.
Yeah. I have not seen videos of that, but yeah, they're so strange. And that to me is kind of pretty cool and just fascinating. Maybe as most fascinating in my mind is what I'm thinking. All right, well, let's go through a couple like matchups. Tiger went up against skunk and it won. Snapping turtle, penguin. I picked penguin, I think, to be on this. I think it's a cool animal, but it's not really badass necessarily. Snapping turtle won that one. Ravens and marlins. I think if you were picking most badass physical qualities, marlin would and should win. But again, I think ravens are like something that are kind of like a cultural thing that like people think are cool and like what they represent is badass. So ravens did win that one. And then octopus, manta ray. Octopus won there. What about the bottom half? How about those first round matchups?
Cheetah versus the giant tortoise. Cheetah ran away with that one. The wolf beat the coyote. No surprise there. Coyotes are badass. They're really smart, but it'd probably take 3 or 4 of them suckers to take down a wolf.
I thought that one would be closer.
You think so?
I don't know how close it was on yours, but I saw some comments that were like, is this serious? And I mean that we always get those. But people were just like very view coyotes much less favorably than wolves. And they're not all that different.
Yeah.
As an animal expert, they're basically the same.
Yeah. Yeah. I think coyotes are a bit smaller though.
Yeah.
Like a wolf is kind of like a giant dog, and then a coyote's like a small dog.
Yeah.
It's pretty small.
Yeah.
But both super smart. And this was a bat versus a piranha. Now, bats are very decisive. Bats either kind of give you the chill, like the heebie-jeebies, like get that thing away. I think I might have got that a little from the movie Ace Ventura 2.
Yeah.
It was just a great white bat, super creepy. My wife, Emily, loves them. Think they're super cute. And if you have seen pictures of them, maybe you think they're cute, but I can't get it out of my head that like they give you rabies. So piranha did beat bat. I think piranhas are super badass, but I think what we're going to see in the later rounds is that piranha by itself, like you can't take into consideration the full pack really. Just one piranha, not so badass. Pack of piranhas, they'll maul your ass in a heartbeat. And the last one was the hippo versus the ibex. Hippo won. Hippo had a good run there. So
no major upsets really in our first round here. A lot of the animals we figured would go on. So our second round, we'll kind of move down because there weren't many upsets either in these round 2 matchups for this region. Tiger went up against snapping turtle and Tiger won there. Octopus beat a raven. That honestly could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But I think octopus was the right choice. I would have picked octopus.
I think so. Then we had cheetah versus wolf. This was a really close one. It was kind of like primal cat, primal dog.
Yeah.
Dog won. Wolf moved on. And then when it came to the piranha versus the hippo, hippo stomped all over that shiz.
Yeah.
Hippo moved on.
I think that's what you talk about there. Like when you're picturing like one hippo, one piranha. Yeah, of course, like one hippo is gonna be more badass than one piranha.
Yeah.
When I was pulling up like GIFs or like small video clips of like piranhas, there's actually quite a few. There wasn't quite a few. There's like 1 or 2 though, where I was like, I didn't put in the video because I was like, I don't know. I feel like people are going to be sad seeing this because I guess how sometimes you feed piranha, you drop like a live mouse in a tank, and it's like trying to swim, and it just comes up and just snips it and nips it, and it just like kills it pretty quick. And I was like, like that's really cool, honestly, and things like that. But like, I wish it was something that was happening naturally and not like we're feeding our piranha today, and then you're like, couldn't, it seems like this is intentionally killing an animal rather than like this is nature happening. So I was like, it shows how badass piranhas are, but I was like, I don't know if I can. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want people to be like, don't show that. I don't want to make people feel bad.
So
all right.
We got Tiger versus Octopus.
Yeah.
We're in Sweet 16 now. Tiger won, beat the Octopus. Octopus had a good run there. And then who's Tiger facing off against here in the Elite 8? Yeah,
so Tiger beat Octopus, probably expected, and then Wolf versus Hippo. If you had these two, if they crossed paths and they were fighting, Hippo's gonna win.
Oh, yeah.
I found, I was finding little gifs and images of like hippos like running with like lions on its back, like clawing at it. It's just like running along, like not even phased. So no way is like a single wolf like winning in a fight. But we had it go up to the polls. We had people vote on it. And they voted wolf as a more badass animal than hippo. So we had one more cat versus dog matchup. Wolf was able to beat cheetahs. Would it be able to beat tigers? Wolves versus tigers. Any thoughts on this matchup? Like, what any animal facts as an animal expert that you got?
Well, I am from Detroit-ish, so I'm a Tigers fan.
There we go. It took me too long.
You know, I feel like Tigers are represented more as a sports team mascot. So I'm going Tigers. They are the real king of the jungle. Fun fact about Tigers. I feel like this isn't really a fun fact. I feel like everybody knows this by now. It's common knowledge. More tigers are in the state of Texas than anywhere else in the world.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you tally them all up. There's more in Texas because people keep them as pets. There's like no laws there against it. So more tigers in captivity in the state of Texas than anywhere else in the world.
Okay.
Wow. That one's true.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Really?
No. Tigers and wolves, man, this is tough because I'm a literary fella. That's how ravens ended up probably on this list because I don't think that might have been one of the early birds we picked. Not the first one for sure, but I was like, let's get ravens because they're badass because of stories and, you know, kind of their occult history and nature. And so wolves, like I said, also have a very, like, you know, werewolves. Could werewolves be on the list? So like part of me wants to pick wolves because I think they are animals you could run across and you can be raised by them, you know. Yeah. And I don't think a tiger would raise a baby, but you can be raised by wolves. You can't be raised by tigers.
You can dance with wolves.
You can dance with wolves.
Wolves will blow your house in.
Wolves will blow your house. Yeah, there's so much just about wolves in songs and stories and things like that. But there's, of course, like Eye of the Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger.
Is there a song about wolves? Yeah, there's like Selena Gomez has a song called Wolves.
Oh.
There's probably a bunch of other songs. This is the first one I thought of.
Wolverine.
But he's a Wolverine.
Yeah.
Which has made the list.
It did.
I'll save that question for maybe when we're doing the next region. We might have a couple fun questions about animals in different. Whatever. Yeah, who cares who I'm gonna pick? Yeah, I would have picked Tiger too, because it was my number one seed, and I was really worried I went too strong on Tiger. So who won? Who's going on to the final four? Did Tiger as the one seed do its job?
A wolf wouldn't, but a tiger would.
Chuck?
Tiger won.
Oh, Tiger! Oh,
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, oh my God, there's so much animal stuff.
Golfer of all time.
Yeah,
greatest. But there's also Wolf the Dentist Stanson from
Mighty Ducks 2.
Mighty Ducks 2. Wolf,
yeah. There's also Finn Wolfhard, which sounds like an adult actor, really but that is the guy that plays Mike in Stranger Things. I think that's his real name.
Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah. I think that's his name. Now I'm not sure. Maybe I did just say an adult actor. So that was our first region. Tiger made the final four. It was one of our one seeds. Let's go on to our next region here and talk a little bit about it. Maybe a little fun question as we get going.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So this was our Great White Shark region. The Great White Shark. I believe that was my number one seed pick. I think so it was the Great White Sharks region to win or lose, which we'll reveal here shortly. So we had some cool animals here. We'll just go down the first round, kind of let you know who is matched up against Tiger in the final four. We had Great White Shark, number one seed, going against bees. Bees are pretty badass, but no match. They weren't no match for the Great White Shark. Great White Sharks moving on.
Bees are very cool. And I bet the people that know about bees, have all these facts about how important bees are to the environment, to nutrition, to how we get food and stuff. Bees are the shit.
Yeah.
And that makes them badass. But I think a lot of people are kind of well, you can only be so badass in the nice things you do around the house.
Yeah.
And then when the Great White Shark Daddy comes home and just lays into you.
Yeah.
I don't know where this story is going. It sounds a little domestically violent. But I think that's what it was.
Yeah, and you got to go somewhere. You do a beeline.
Yeah.
Bees.
Bee movie with Jerry Seinfeld.
Movie. Yep. But was it a match for Jaws?
Jaws.
Jaws.
Literally a movie so powerful and an animal so scary that it gave like the fear of swimming to so many people growing up,
especially swimming in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, sharks don't kill anybody. They're just, every time it happens, there's a news story about it. So people are like, oh, don't go in the water. It's just very buzzy. No pun intended with the bees. But more people get killed by like deer than sharks, or freaking bees probably kill more people than sharks. That'd be a good Googleable thing. In fact, I'm an animal expert.
It'd be a good 2 truths and a lie or something.
Bees kill more people than sharks. Animal expert.
I have a quick thing before we move on. Sorry.
Swarm of bees.
Anthony Jeselnik, you're familiar with the comedian?
Jeselnik, yeah.
He had a very short-lived, he's one of the most heinous comics, and I say that in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
His stuff is just dark.
Yeah.
But he had a very short-lived show, I want to say in like 2012-ish, called The Jeselnik Offensive.
All right.
And there was, I think he famously tells this story. I don't know how true it is or not. But like what the episode they decided to pull, or when they decided like we're not going to keep doing this show, or when they're like was when there's a news story about like a surfer or a swimmer in Australia that had been eaten and killed by a shark, killed and eaten by a shark, and he had like a shark party. He like announced the story, and he was like, "Do you know how many humans kill sharks every year? Today we're celebrating the shark." People in shark costumes come out and dance. Like women scantily clad dance with him, and he was like an old-timey like 1940s crooner guy singing about shark parties. And I just will forever kind of remember celebrating one for the sharks. And he was very adamant that like this is not wrong. This is like, you can't be mad at this and be mad at a shark killed a person for swimming in the ocean right around them and bothering them when like people kill sharks all the time.
100%. Couldn't agree more. He's phenomenal comedian. And he's been one of those that like the stuff he says is probably more offensive than really any other comic, but it's just like that's just his thing. Like it's just like how far can he go with his jokes? And there's always like that subtle twist turn at the end of his bits, and you never see it coming.
No.
And he's great. Huge fan.
So
apparently super nice guy, and personally, it's usually like the dirtier, and I don't even like the term edgier, but the more line pushing the comic, usually the nicer they are. And Giant Squid versus King Cobra. King Cobra won there. And then we had Dolphin versus Fox, kind of the battle of they're both known for being very smart. And the Dolphin beat the Fox, the cunning Fox. And then we had the battle of the creepy crawlies, spiders, Black Widow versus Tarantula. And Black Widow won.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Black Widow won.
Do you think it was a poison thing?
Probably a poison thing. I think the Black Widow is just like more elusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't really see, I'm sure more people, I don't know. What's more common to see? I had never seen either of them just out in the wild.
I don't think so either. I think it's one of those things where like when you're a kid growing up and you see a spider, like someone's like, I swear I see the hourglass on it. And when we saw Black Widow, you go back and tell your parents and you're all bought into the lie that there was some danger. Yeah. Like you just fabricate danger when you're younger, not knowing how much real danger you've actually been in. Certain times when you're like holding bottle rockets and shooting them off from your hand.
You did that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Black Widow, it won for reasons. We'll go to the bottom half. Owls went up against killer whales. I think this was me picking another bird for what it represents. Owls being wise and wisdom, but killer whale, the orcas, advanced. Killer whale dropped pretty low, 11 seed, honestly.
That's pretty low.
But yeah, lion versus the golden poison frog. This one you would say, obviously lion won, and it wouldn't seem like any kind of interesting matchup. But golden poison frog was chosen because it is the most venomous. Is it poison or venom? Venom is one that an animal inflicts intentionally. Poison is something that just like it secretes. I think, it's called the golden poison frog, so I'm guessing it's poisonous and not venomous.
Yeah.
Because frogs can't actually like have anything to like inject venom since frogs don't really have teeth. Like if you just like scrape like a little bit of like the slime or like skin secretion off the golden poison frog, it is like the most venomous animal, and like just like a small tiny teaspoon or something is enough to kill like 10 people.
Yeah.
Over. So it's badass for that, but not badass enough compared to a lion. Bullet ant and jellyfish. Jellyfish won this one, which I'm surprised on. I mean, jellyfish are in that like weird badass category, but a bullet ant is like actually badass. So
yeah, I get it. I get jellyfish is more commonly known. Bullet ant, I think, is one that I just know specifically because that Coyote Peterson guy from Brave Wilderness, that YouTube channel where he just took the most painful insect stings and he worked his way up to what is commonly known as the most painful, and that's the bullet ant. So, and if you've seen one, they look so mean.
I remember. Yeah, I mean, they just crushing pincers. And then our 2 seed here in this region, elephant, which was maybe one of the favorites, went up against elk, and elephant did win. So again, no real upsets. I guess killer whale over owl in seed, but I don't think anybody would have said that's a surprise to them. Probably.
No, I wouldn't think so. No huge upsets. The 1, the 2, the 3, all advanced here. So
right on.
Well, we got a good one. Great white shark, king cobra. I thought this would be a closer matchup. I think great white shark kind of blew it out of the water. So we got great white shark in the Sweet 16. And then we had dolphin versus black widow. This is where it just kind of like people are like, well, how do you compare the two?
Yeah.
Like, well, which one's more badass?
Yeah.
It's like, science here.
It's a science, yeah.
The dolphin is the badass of the water. Can you do a dolphin? That's really good. They have
my dolphins.
Sexuals with people.
Yeah.
And you can swim with. I've swum with the dolphin once. They're
so
super
cool.
smart. And black widows, just a little scary, creepy, crawly, badass kills. But dolphins are gonna move on to the Sweet 16 to face the great white shark.
Yeah. So one question that I want to ask, and it's maybe appropriate here: Black Widow. There's also a Marvel character known as Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson, I'm pretty sure. But animals in movies and animal characters are very common.
Yeah.
Tracing back to early fables, Aesop's fables and myths and stuff had animals doing human things, or like anthropomorphic animals that were personified. Who are some of the best animal characters off the top of your head, or like the first ones you think of for like the coolest animal characters?
First one that comes to mind is Free Willy.
Okay.
I love that movie growing up. Watched it not that long ago. Still holds up.
Oh,
yeah, still
nice. That's one of those movies that you would think, oh, I'm gonna watch this and go, wow.
Yeah, it's a tad early 90s. There's some tad early 90s cheese on it, but it's still fun. And then one I grew up with was Homeward Bound.
That one did not age that well.
No, I'll bet it didn't. But
I watched it probably like 10 years ago.
Really?
And I was like, ooh.
Yeah, so that one, it's not really like
movie,
famous animal characters like a Snoopy would be.
Oh, Jesus.
But it's, good story about lost animals and get themselves into some tough situations.
Some hijinks.
You tell me the last scene where they don't think Shadow makes it out of the hole.
That's such a sad one.
It's so sad, right?
Yeah.
And then Chance takes the
porcupine to the face.
Yeah, some of that stuff's like, how do they pull that off?
Yeah, that movie was iconic to me, but
I think that's what embedded the just stereotype in my mind that dogs are boys, cats are boys.
For sure.
So, and I always had boy dogs growing up, and then I got these cats, and the first one we got, Sasha, she's a girl, but then now I get this boy cat, and it kind of plays like a weird like mental thing in my brain, like a mental twist, like, oh wait, that's a cat, also a boy.
Yeah.
Which
is
great. There's plenty of boy cats. But.
Yeah, we are animal experts. There are girl cats and there are boy cats.
Boy cats.
And I bet you didn't know that.
And trans cats.
And I bet you didn't know that either. Yeah. So yeah, cool. We've got Chris's favorite animals. I won't do mine.
Please do yours. Come on, you can't pose the question.
One of the first things I thought of was actually the animated Disney Robin Hood movie where Robin Hood is a fox.
Oh, okay.
He was very cool to me. Other like famous animals, BoJack Horseman. I'm just trying to think of like stuff that I like. BoJack's a horse. what are other animals that I like in movies or TV shows or animal characters? Chester Cheeto
Okay.
is very ingrained in my brain, and so is Joe Camel because back when like cigarettes weren't like completely banned and could be like advertised, like there's a big billboard in my hometown growing up for Camel cigarettes, and there's Joe Camel, with his sunglasses, holding a pool cue, a cigarette and smoke coming. I was like, that guy's the fucking coolest.
Super cool.
And I was like, I want to be Joe Camel. And I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, but
really,
yeah,
never.
Wow,
that's awesome.
But I want to because of how cool it looks.
Let's go get a pack.
All right. Well, we'll move on. So great white shark and dolphin are going to face off in the Elite Eight, or not in the Elite Eight of this region, maybe in the Sweet 16. And then who were the other two at the bottom? Killer whale went up against lion, and lions won. I'm trying to think of any famous lions from The Wizard of Oz. Simba and Aslan from Narnia. Three very famous lions. I would say
R. Kelly. He was lion.
He was. I would say Simba. Simba's not my favorite character, but because of the music in The Lion King, I would vote Simba over the Cowardly Lion or Aslan from Narnia.
I like the young Simba more than the grown-up Simba.
Like Jonathan Taylor
Thomas over the Matthew Broderick Simba.
Oh, was that was Matthew
I think it
Broderick?
was Matt Broderick.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. All right. And then jellyfish versus elephant. It would have been so cool to see jellyfish pull a big upset there, but cool. Elephant did win. Yeah. So this was kind of expected. Elephants, lions, great white sharks, dolphins. These are the four that could win this region. Thoughts or results? Any questions?
I think, and we'll reveal it in a second. I think the right animal won. I think the most badass animal ends up winning. So
yeah, I would say I expected great white shark to beat dolphin, but lion and elephant seemed like a toss up for me.
True.
I thought the only one that wouldn't come out of this region once we got here was dolphin. Yeah. And I was like, if it beats great white shark, it's not beating one of the other two.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's probably gonna be great white shark, but I was like, I don't know who it'll go up against, and I don't know if it'll win against those other two because the lions are very badass and so are elephants. So great white shark did beat dolphin.
Great white shark.
And how about lions, elephants?
So lion actually beat elephant. They weren't voting on sheer size, just strict badassery. Lions are, I think elephants are more known, other than when you mess with their kids. Elephants are known to be pretty standoffish and pleasant, peaceful creatures. And it's probably the same with a lion. I don't think a lion's going to mess with you too much unless it's really hungry or if you mess with its kids. But lions just have that reputation of, if you see one, you're going to get ripped to shreds.
It's the paws and claws and the teeth and fangs. So it's like an elephant is just like size.
Yeah. Yeah. So we saw great white shark versus lion. And remember, the winner is going to go against tiger. So lions and tigers or sharks and tigers.
Oh, we have bears up there. We might have had lions, tigers, bears if lion could beat great white shark.
But it couldn't.
It couldn't.
Great white shark, the number 1 seed, is moving on to the final 4 to face off against the tiger. So
I feel like you didn't run into circles with like a lot of like animated kid shows as much. Do you know Street Sharks?
No.
They were kind of like Ninja Turtles, but they were sharks.
Now that you mention it, it's vaguely from like I can picture.
I think they all were like sports too. Like the great white one was like a hockey player. Used like a hockey stick. Okay. I think there was like an orca killer whale one. I think he like rollerbladed. I don't know. They all had like sports too. But like, yeah, there was once like Ninja Turtles hit big. There's a lot of similar knockoffs. So, like other animals in groups of 4 were like crime fighters. So there's like Street Sharks. There was biker mice from Mars.
Ugh, I don't know about that. What TV were you watching?
Kids channels. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, great white shark I think is also the right call here. So great white, tiger, 2 of our final 4. Halfway through.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, or you want to head up to the other regions first?
I think we got the real king of the jungle versus the king of the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
They say lions are king of the jungle, but you ask experts like us, and it's tigers. Tigers are bigger. lions are never really in the jungle, period. They're in kind of the plains.
Yeah.
So tiger is real king of the jungle. So we can move up to the northeast region here, where the number 1 seed was the grizzly bear. I did think we had a sleeper in this one. Why don't we go down matchup by matchup, and I'll let you know which one I thought.
I'll start the top ones then.
Yeah, cool.
Because is your sleeper in the bottom half?
Yeah, mine's in the top half.
You can do top half.
Yeah, I'll do top half. All right, so grizzly bear versus porcupine. Easy for me to say. Porcupines are just so badass.
Yeah,
I kind of wish they would have got a better seed here. Because I think they could have made a decent run, maybe even into the Sweet 16, just because what other animal is wrapped in spikes?
Yeah.
It's just so
They
badass.
can shoot needles out of themselves.
Yeah, maybe Stegosaurus, but we
Like,
excluded dinosaurs.
We have like homeless people that shoot needles into themselves, but they're not shooting them out.
Yeah.
Shout out to homeless.
Shout out homeless.
Heroin
Shout
people.
out vaxxers and anti-vaxxers.
I know they're watching right now.
You know my political opinions? Whatever yours are. I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah. But the grizzly bear did knock off the porcupine. R.I.P. porcupine. Is it porcupine or porcupine?
I think we all say, I grew up saying porcupine because I think of Porky Pig, and I just heard pork, and you just say porky.
Porky, yeah.
The correct way to pronounce it, I'll pull it up. I'll pull up the etymology and try and see what they say.
Yeah, pull it up, Jamie. That's a Joe Rogan thing. Chimpanzee versus scorpion. Scorpions are probably the most badass of the insect kingdom.
True.
But being fresh off watching that Chimp Empire documentary, I think I could have seen Chimp go to the Final Four and been like, cool, they are so badass.
Yeah.
They have like a social structure almost equal to ours. Just give them some iPhones and they're us. But scorpions did drop. Chimpanzee moved on in the second round. Then we had bull versus German Shepherd. It was good to get a little bit of dog representation on here.
Yeah.
And I felt like German Shepherds were the most like badass dog. I think I originally put pit bull there just so we had bull versus pit bull. But I was just like, you know what? German Shepherds are more badass to me than a pit bull. But the bull did win, so no more like canine type dogs. We still got, you know, the wolves moved on far. Anyways, here was my sleeper. Polar bears. I thought polar bears dropping to a 4 seed was pretty unexpected. And I thought the polar bear was going to pull it out and go to like the finals. But we'll see. I thought they were going to go far. Polar bears are pretty ferocious because they have the whole, if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, say goodnight. So to me, that was just like polar bears are, a shoe-in here. But they face off against the platypus. Wipe the slate clean with the platypus. God's mistake, I think he's called him. So
yeah, something like that. Yeah, that was me memeing, I think.
Numbers are gonna be.
Yeah. So again, no upsets there. Grizzly bear, chimpanzee, bull, polar bear, all moved on. In the bottom half of the bracket, we had the one-horned phenomenons, the one-eyed, one-horned flying purple people eaters, rhinoceros versus narwhal. Rhinos ended up winning. To be fair, I think rhinos actually have like a tinier second horn. I don't think they're one-horned.
Yeah, quick thing. I was pulling for the narwhal. Narwhal. My kid loves him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got like a stuffed animal. Cool. They're just a cool creature. He loves them. So I was like,
yeah, I think when you're growing up, like rhinos seem like they'd be like one of the most badass animals.
Yeah.
But they really maybe aren't. I don't know. Like rhino expert. We're experts on all animals, obviously, but some of our knowledge, like on rhinos, is like slipped through the years. Like rhino experts, like how badass or dangerous is this animal?
Yeah.
I think probably Rocksteady being the first boss in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a lot of the arcade games and being a rhino, maybe think rhinos are really badass. Like you don't pick that animal. But they won against narwhals, crocs, and alligators.
Yeah. This is going to determine, if we're going to see you later or see you in a while.
Yep. And we'll see in a while. Crocodiles moved on over alligators for reasons that we know and that you know because you voted, and we won't explain because it's just science why crocs are more badass than alligators.
Shorter, slimmer.
Yeah. Camels, mountain goats. If I had said Joe Camel, I think they're going all the way because he's the ultimate badass. He's still smoking to this day and has not had any side effects.
No,
Take that, tobacco industry, anti-tobacco industry. Joe Camel's doing fine.
Still kicking.
Yeah, so
healthier than ever.
Probably something that you're putting in everybody's water, and it's not cigarettes. Smoke away, boys. But it went up against mountain goats, which is so cool when you see like the videos, and they're like literally standing on like a vertical thing, and they're just like
they just have no fear. They're just there.
Well, because they know they can do it, and I don't know. I think they're magic. I think they have anti-gravity powers.
Yeah,
and that is an animal fact. Mountain goats are able to manipulate the amount of gravity.
That's cool.
That around them, and that is why they do not slide down.
I didn't even know that.
So mountain goats won for that reason alone.
Yeah.
And camels did not move on. Sadly, camel was one of my favorite animals for a while, but I've heard they're kind of like dirty, gross animals.
Favorite animal.
Camel animal. And then the blue whale, the largest mammal, maybe the largest animal, period, that's currently living, went up against electric eel. Electric eel got on here because how many animals can generate electricity? That's literally like a superpower that a hero or a villain gets that we're like, that would be so cool, but an animal can actually do it. So pretty badass, but at the end of the day, it's an eel with no legs and no hands.
Yeah.
Like, thank God. If eels grew fingers and could shoot electricity, we'd be fucked.
Well, there's a comic book for you. Like someone eats sushi, they get eel, but the electric kind, and they just
that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
It's a better origin story than Electro's, which I think he
It's
just
like
got zapped by a power line. Some blue collar worker. Classic. The blue whale. Speaking of blue collars, blue whales.
Blue whales.
The blue collar worker of the sea. Blue whales.
Foxworthy.
Moved on against electric eel. So you could consider mountain goat an upset, but it's pretty close. Those are basically the 8-9 of the bottom region. So nothing there. So here we go, trying to find who's coming out. Next region. I'll start at the top.
Yeah.
Grizzly bear went against chimpanzee. I think maybe chimpanzee got a low seed because you kind of described how cool they were. And I think, man, chimpanzees are just if cool means the same thing as badass, chimpanzees are right up there in a top 5 coolest and most badass animal. But if most badass if you view that more compartmentalized as something like very strong or powerful or like a killing machine, then I can see why chimpanzees don't go as far. But grizzly bear did beat chimpanzee. But come on, how would you rather be a grizzly bear or a chimpanzee? I'd rather be a chimp.
You can rather be a chimp.
I don't know if that's anything to do with that.
They're just so smart. And they have like little, I mean, they're territorial, and a lot of animals are, but in that, like, they'll like organize troops to go like invade another one. And like when you get invaded, it's like you got 2 choices, run or fight. And there's no like, and it's just wild how they organize them. There's like top dog and like second in charge, and
the alphas, the betas.
Yeah, they do have that. Yeah.
I feel like I thought of this while we were talking, and I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. I feel like being a chimpanzee would be like being a kid again and getting all the perks of like basically being like a human, but without the knowledge of like being an adult and like having responsibilities. Like a chimpanzee is like just being a kid. So let me be that. But grizzly bear moved on. And were we gonna get the grizzly bear versus the polar bear? Was your big sleeper here gonna move on and beat bulls? And it did. So we did get the grizzly bear polar bear matchup. We'll talk about that one. Who are the other 2 that moved on in the bottom half? Yeah,
so we got grizzly bear, polar bear, and then to see who else would enter the Sweet 16, we had rhino versus crocodile, and the rhino did move on. So RIP.
Oh. Bit of an upset there, then.
Yeah, the rhino.
I was surprised at that.
Yeah,
honestly.
Rhinos just have like something about them that I think. So my picture of a rhino is just like it would have the ability to like run through big walls,
big brick walls.
Yeah,
like Tyrone, the crackhead from Chappelle's Show sketches.
Yeah. It's badassery.
Yeah.
Like a croc would get all confused and probably like lay down and just,
It just like hiss at you and then you're
Yeah.
like,
But I think the croc has the added ability of like they could put like bait in their mouth and just like
your
and then once
human
good-
trap.
Yeah.
They put an iPhone in there.
Yeah.
You go,
they're like, oh, sweet free iPhone. Oh, sweet Adderall.
We are such a simple species.
Yeah.
Oh my god! If other animals
Mhm.
got like that one level of intelligence up to like set traps for humans, we'd be done for.
Oh, yeah.
You'd all be dead, you idiots.
Yeah. Well, not my favorite comedian, but Joe Rogan had a pretty funny bit about how dolphins are so smart, you never catch them. Like nobody's ever accidentally caught a dolphin because they see that and they're like, get that shit out of here. I know you're fishing for me. But if people fish for humans, or if someone fished for humans, you'd catch us all day. Like if you saw like a cheeseburger hanging, you'd be like, I'm taking a risk.
I bet I can get away with this one.
There goes Mikey into the sky.
Amazing.
So Rhino versus the winner of Mountain Goat and Blue Whale. No surprise there. I didn't expect to see Mountain Goat in the second round.
Yeah.
But Blue Whale, they're just so big. I think bigger is better when it comes to badassery.
Yeah.
So we had Rhino versus Blue Whale. So
we had a lot of big boys here. I feel like compared to
this
some of the other regions where we had like, I guess lions and tigers are big, but they're not the size of all these. These are all bigger than like lions, tigers, probably even bigger than most great white sharks. Great white sharks are longer, but like grizzly bears, like bears, grizzly bear, polar bear, rhino, blue whale. These are the big heavy boys. These are the meat slappers.
Yeah, this was like our.
This is the Lesnar, Batista.
Yeah, Andre the Giant region.
Strowman. Yeah.
Same Northeast too. That's
yeah.
Fun. Well, I'll go because I kind of led up to this matchup. Grizzly bear versus polar bear.
So you would vote polar bear.
I would vote polar bear, and that's actually who I expected to win this. So when the votes came in, that did not happen. Grizzly bear.
Do you want to know?
Strong with that number one seed.
Yeah. Do you want to know my theory on why grizzly bear won?
More common?
That basically, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like you're never going to run into a polar bear in the wild if you're not somewhere where you definitely expect like you just see it from far enough away, because like a polar bear, like you're out in like a flat icy area and like there it is. But like a grizzly bear, like you're in a forest, you're in woods, you can't see, you just start hearing something, you're camping out, like it's just a far more common encounter. So I think people were like, yeah man, I don't want to run into a grizzly bear, because you're out there like not prepared to be attacked by an animal. And if you're out in the Arctic, you're like prepared for bad shit to happen to you.
Yeah, nothing good happens there.
why are you out there?
Yeah.
So that's my theory.
Okay.
But yeah, I think polar bears are probably every bit as deadly as grizzly bears.
Yeah. And I think maybe too, polar bear. I think all bears have kind of been like gone through the Hollywood machine and been made like Coke,
I was gonna say,
friendly polar bear, like Winnie the Pooh, friendly bear. But like, I think maybe a little bit of that like Coca-Cola campaign, where it's just like those cool polar bears. Like, they're nice. They're not going to harm me. They're just going to sip a Coke Zero and, leave you alone. Apparently not. Definitely not. Animal experts. If it's white, say goodnight. They're gonna rip you to shreds without even blinking an eye. Yeah.
So grizzly bear moved on.
Grizzly.
And was going to go up against the winner versus rhino or blue whale. I would have expected blue whale, because I was like, look, if people are going to vote for like a most badass animal here, like I do think size and just like massiveness is something that people are going to view. And I was like, well, blue whales are huge. I guess they're generally peaceful though. Like blue whales are not prone to like fighting or attacking people intentionally, or even other animals. They're kind of just like open your mouth and that's how you eat. Yeah. I wish it was that easy for me to eat. Like I just open my mouth and like there's all my nutrition.
Yeah.
But I still expected blue whales, because I was like, maybe rhinos. I thought maybe rhino was overrated. I was surprised to beat crocodile, but it won. It beat blue whales too. Rhino, maybe our most surprising Elite Eight entrant, because like we have like 1s and 3s. We have like tiger, wolf, great white shark, lion, grizzly bear. I guess rhino does feel in that same category, but I don't know. To me, it doesn't. I think all of the other ones have been so put into like TV and movies where we've seen those animals as like predators or as like characters, and I don't think they've really done that with rhinos. Honestly, like I said, Rocksteady from Ninja Turtles and Jim Carrey in a fake rhino in Ace Ventura.
Maybe that's what.
Like those are the only two like rhino things I really feel are that popular to me.
Yeah. Gosh, I was just like imagine just like going on like a little kayak trip and just encountering a blue whale, just like swimming maybe 3 feet underneath. That just gives me the
just
creeps.
looking down.
Like, yeah, just something the size of a bus.
Yeah,
a bus plus,
and not knowing what it's gonna do.
Yeah, it could just rise up, and you'd be just the idea. It's hard for me to wrap my head around a living creature that big. I think biggest creature of all time, like including dinosaurs.
No,
the blue whale, of all time.
Incredible.
Awesome. So,
but it got knocked out.
Yeah. What do we end up with? Grizzly bear versus rhino in the Elite Eight?
Yeah.
Who won?
Well, I would have voted for grizzly bear because, like I said, I was kind of like rhinos. I don't know if they deserved it. I thought crocodiles and blue whales were maybe more badass to me. So I would have gone grizzly bear. How about you?
I would have gone grizzly bear too. However, if it was grizzly bear versus blue whale, probably a different story. If we had seen blue whale go in, I probably would have gone blue whale. But grizzly bear versus rhino, this matchup, I'm going grizzly bear.
Grizzly bear did win. So we've got 3 of our final 4. As a reminder, we've got tigers, we've got great white sharks, we've got grizzly bears. We need 1 more. And so far, all of our 1 seeds have advanced.
Yeah.
We had not had a bracket that we've done. Actors, wrestlers, TV shows that had all 4 1 seeds make it to the final 4. So in theory, the odds were stacked against our 1 seed in this last region, which was Gorilla. And some of the other big seeds we had here, Bald Eagle is a 2, maybe a bit high, but kind of its representative badassness.
Pretty patriotic.
This was kind of the American region, American patriotism region. Anaconda as a 3. Terrifying, horrifying snake.
Yeah, looking back, I think that was my pick.
I think this region is the weakest. Also, like the 2s and 3s. Wolves and what was the 2 up there?
There's a
wolves and hippos.
Wolves and hippos. Yep.
Lions and elephants. Blue whales and I guess rhino wasn't a 3. What was the 3 there? Crocs. With polar bears as a 4.
Yeah.
We're looking American bison as a 4.
That's a weak 4.
Yeah. Bald eagle as a 2. The 3 is an anaconda. Gorilla. Now the odds are looking better for gorilla. There's not a lot of big players here.
That's true.
So like, I would feel like whoever comes out of this region, unless it's gorilla, has like no chance against grizzly bear. I would think.
Yeah, unless a honey badger makes this like just insane run. All based out the back of that one video where they showed. Honey badger don't give a shit.
I'll keep this in my pocket for a little bit so as to not spoil if honey badger advances far or doesn't. But let's go through some of the first round matchups. Gorilla against the Mr. Irrelevant himself. The last pick, I memed again. I picked blobfish because when you look that bad but still exist, that's badass. Like if you show this guy himself in the mirror and he keeps going, like that's badass, man. That thing's hideous.
That's some self-confidence on another level.
Yeah, absolutely. But gorilla moved on. Kangaroo versus moose. We went Aussies versus Canadians, and moose won.
Hell yeah.
I love moose. That was one of my favorite animals for a while as well. Big noses, big antlers. That's sweet. Honey badger versus giraffe. This was a tough. I would think this is a tough matchup for honey badger because giraffe is very unique. Even though they're not that vicious or ferocious, but they do the neck fighting. At least not with us.
Yeah.
But they could probably just swatch into another state with their long neck and head.
And strongest bite.
The strongest bite, as I said earlier, because of the altitude. So honey badger versus giraffe. Honey badger moved on. It's starting its run. Honey badger. I mean, we had honey badger seated higher.
Team honey badger.
Honey badger is in that 5 seed. So we're trying to see if it can make that magical run and at least not be upset. And then we had American bison versus Tasmanian devil, another Aussie versus American. And fuck you, Australians, you lost again. Your animals aren't as deadly and as badass as you thought they were. We talk about that all the time. American bison, moving on. So kangaroos, Tasmanian devils. What do you think is the most badass Australian animal? Would you go with Tasmanian devil, kangaroo? I mean, I know like they do have a bunch of super deadly spiders and snakes that are like more specific species, but like, is there a major one that?
Yeah, I'd probably go with the kangaroo. Just not to sound like a cliche piece of shit, but I think
It's
kangaroos
pretty
are
badass.
super badass. Yeah,
100%.
Have you ever seen that video of the kangaroo messing with that guy's dog?
Yeah.
And
Oh
he goes
yeah.
up. Kangaroos can look.
They
super
square up.
Yeah,
They look like
square up.
weird humans.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah.
But he slapped that thing in the face and it said, "Excuse me," and they slapped it again and they booked it. But
yeah, I feel like
it's amazing.
If you took a kick from a kangaroo, that would mess you up.
Yeah,
Imagine.
kangaroo versus Jake Paul. When?
Right.
All right, so that's the top half. No upsets there.
No, not really. Then we move on to the bottom half of the last region here, first round. Battle of the Jungle Cats. We got some flack that these were one and the same animal. I disagree. Panther versus the jaguar. They're very much different. Panthers, I feel like, are more calculated and just hunting predator, and jaguars are just, a football team. So the panther did win.
Yeah.
And then we had anaconda versus mongoose, which this was a good pick from you because I don't know if I would have done the same here. I picked anaconda at a 3 seed, probably just because that Ice Cube J-Lo movie from way back just terrified me.
Yeah.
But the mongoose is kind of known to be a snake killer, right?
Yeah.
It takes care of those.
The tiny snakes.
Yeah. But the anaconda did, wrap its big, thick body around that mongoose, squeeze him to death. Anaconda moves on. We had a good American battle here. The Clydesdale versus the reindeer. Clydesdale won, so people weren't feeling very holly jolly.
No, so maybe Santa should reimagine like what animals are pulling his slide.
Yeah, maybe he needs a Clydesdale.
Yeah, I would think so.
And here we had this is a good one. Bald Eagle, who I had a lot of people on Twitter be like, when this first matchup came down, they're like, "Oh, Bald Eagle's my pick to go all the way." But it was a 2 seed just because of kind of what it represents.
I thought people. That's why I picked it so high. I thought people would instinctively think, "Oh yeah, that's a badass animal."
Yeah.
Again, because of what it represented. But like, this animal's not going to win against half of the animals in a fight.
That's true. But I mean, you go to Google Images because that's what I did when I put, and just the pictures of the bald eagle are so badass.
Yeah.
Most of them are just like the majestic, like chest up photo with the American flag kind of waving in the background, or Hulk Hogan playing guitar right next to it, whatever. But it was going against the chameleon, and so when you picked electric eel, you're like, what animal can harness electricity or whatever it does with electricity?
Yeah.
Well, my kind of same take on the chameleon, because it's like, what kind of animal can just like disappear, kind of change colors just at the blink of an eye? And that's a chameleon. And plus, I love chameleon air. So put those together. I kind of wanted to see the chameleon air move on, but it was no match for the bald eagle. Bald eagle kind of,
Yeah. Chameleon's a great choice. I will tell you, like, and when I was pulling up some of the videos and clips and stuff, I was like, you're always got to be wary of like, is this real?
Yeah.
But I was pulling up like chameleon videos, and there was this one where a guy has like all these different pairs of sunglasses, and they're all like a different color on like the bands. And he was putting his chameleon, it was walking, and he was putting like a pink pair of sunglasses, and it changed like not instantly, but within like 2 to 3 seconds, like it matched the color that it stood on. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I believe this. And I found like a longer version or a different part of that clip where it was like from this one to like a light blue to like a green, and it was changing the colors. And I was like, no way. I did not know like how legit when they do that could be. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Chameleons is very cool. Not badass enough to be bald eagles, but
there's a chameleon in this room right now.
And we don't know where it is.
Back there. Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, it's like Reptile, that
From Mortal Kombat?
character.
Oh.
He was cool.
Do you have a favorite Mortal Kombat character or favorite Mortal Kombat ninja?
Probably Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero.
He's always my go-to. What about you?
I ended up liking. Of course, when like Mortal Kombat first came out, it was a bit more limited. I was definitely like a Sub-Zero over Scorpion guy. But as they added more ninjas, and I was like, well, I don't want to like the main two. I was like, I don't want to be like I'm a Sub-Zero, I'm a Scorpion. I gravitated more towards Ermac, who was kind of the orange ninja and had like a bit of an interesting story happen. Yeah.
I like Cyrax too.
Oh,
he had that like rocket that came out of his chest.
Yes, yeah, the different robots, the Cyrax, Sector, and Smoke, because there's a Smoke robot and a Smoke ninja.
Smoke was cool.
Smoke was cool. I think Smoke actually, Mortal Kombat narrative and lore experts can jump in here. I believe the original Sub-Zero in like the storylines becomes Smoke, and like his protege takes on like the new Sub-Zero role, or like vice versa. Like the guy that was Smoke became Sub-Zero after like one of the Sub-Zeros died or whatever. It turns into like this whole like superhero thing where like there's like 5 Spider-Man and there's like 5 Sub-Zero that have been him in the story, but it's whatever. Yeah. So, to me, it kind of feels like you ruin the uniqueness of like Sub-Zero. Oh, there's another guy that's just like, I'm Sub-Zero and I also do frost moves.
Yeah.
Like 10 years later, like let the one guy be the one guy. He seems really special.
Yeah.
It's not a bunch of different scorpions. Well, weird Mortal Kombat.
I was gonna say
that
that first movie, that's still a good movie. Like I really like that movie. Then Annihilation was really bad.
I liked Annihilation still because Ermac was in it.
Oh, okay. Wow. They made that new one that came out during COVID times. It was decent.
Oh, yeah. It was probably lower production because it wasn't like a Netflix or almost like a fan-made thing that was started. I think it originally started as like some people with really high quality film stuff had made like teasers and trailers, and I think like it kind of got picked up, and then they like had financial backing. But I could be wrong. Maybe it was like its full production movie.
Yeah, I forgot the story. But I remember it build up to like one specific thing, and then that thing just like never happened. So I know they're gonna make a number 2, but they had to halt production because of the writer strike and the SAG strike. So nobody's doing movies.
Oh no! I guess you'll have to watch our videos and movies till your dying day.
Yeah,
because we're not on strike.
No,
never will be.
No,
that's not true.
What's next?
Next, we gotta go through our second round of this. Let's go quick. Gorillas versus Moose. Gorillas won. I love Moose, but Gorillas, the videos and stuff about Gorillas, they were so cool. They were so funny.
Yeah.
And then Honey Badger versus Bison. It's a 5-4, so it's basically a toss-up. But did the Honey Badger dream continue? It sure did.
What?
Honey Badger, honestly, maybe Honey Badger would be like the new. I could see in like 50 years when kids now grow up and remember like Honey Badger videos. Like, honestly, I think Honey Badger is the most American animal. And there'll probably be some vote in the legislation that like passes a law, like the new national animal is Honey Badger. And yeah, I think Honey Badger will be the new American animal in the next century.
Okay.
That's a prediction. Put it down.
Yeah, it's not a prediction.
So Gorilla will go up against Honey Badger, bottom half.
Yeah, we had Panther versus Anaconda. This is where Ice Cube's dream ended because Panther won.
Oh, the snakes are gone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Snakes are gone. Matt hates snakes.
I do.
It actually showed up on the worst things bracket.
I put it on there.
Which, by the way, this was the only bracket we had where all the number 1 seeds. Spoiler alert. Well, we haven't revealed it yet, but I was just going to say that cannot happen in our worst things bracket that's going on right now because the number 1 seed got knocked out in the first round. Wild. Student loan debt, which was a number 1 seed, got knocked out by Bad Drivers.
Do you want to know something really funny about that?
Yeah.
The day we did that matchup, a car hit me.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God. It's like you manifested it.
And then I was like, well, you know what? I'm glad I was mad I picked Bad Drivers so low because I was like, this kind of isn't fair to pick it as a 16. But I was like, well, it's true. This sucks.
Wiped out.
I'll show you the paint and scratches on my car later.
Dang, that sucks.
It was Monday. Yeah, it was just Monday.
Damn. Sorry to hear.
Nah, it's all right. Some idiot.
I feel like the next matchup, Clydesdale versus Bald Eagle. Those are probably top two.
For American dominance.
Yes. Which one is going to win? Personally, I think the Clydesdale is more badass, but Bald Eagle did win. So we got our Sweet 16 of this region. We got 4 left. I'll go ahead and do this one. We had the number 1 seed Gorilla versus the On a Run Honey Badger.
Honey Badge.
Seed. But this is where the Cinderella story for the Honey Badger would end. It was, destroyed by the Gorilla, outsmarted, outwitted, out-strengthed, out-muscled.
But not out-ferocious.
No, you can't out-ferocious.
Yeah, that thing just... There's so many funny clips and videos that I got to find doing the little videos things for these, like a honey badger. I just remember him like escaping from a cage, like biting things and like opening a fridge, I think, and like taking food out. I don't know. Some of the stuff I got to see here was so much fun. Yeah. So Gorilla, moving on, and then Panther versus Bald Eagle. Even though Panther is maybe an animal that's not distinct on its own because it's just a melanistic jaguar and or melanistic leopard, it did advance. It beat Bald Eagle.
What does melanistic mean?
So we have like melanins.
Melanin, like white people, black people.
Yeah, so like I think like melanin is one of like the kind of pigments that will be in hair or in skin and things like that. And so if you have a higher, like panthers are literally just like a jaguar or a leopard, one of the two, that is that they've evolved or had like a mutation where they have just a higher level of melanin in their fur pigmentation, and that makes them black.
Interesting.
Yeah. But there are non-black panthers, because like the Florida Panthers,
right?
The hockey team, they're like brown panthers, but those might even be based on like cougars.
Panther lives matter.
I don't know enough about panther facts. But we know all the animal facts, but I forgot them. Gorilla versus Panther.
Gorilla
won.
Gorilla won. So
we had our final 4. All of our 1 seeds made it.
Yeah.
We didn't screw over any animals like we screwed over other things. So we had tigers going up against great white sharks, and then grizzly bears going up against gorillas. Who did you want to win, or who did you think would win?
All right, so I was pulling for the gorilla to win it all. I just love gorilla. Like the silverback gorilla to me is the epitome of badassery. Like I think maybe it's a King Kong thing, or maybe it's a primate thing. I feel like they're closely related to humans, or at least the most closely related to humans as any other animals. Just the way they, strut around, but they're also silly. Like you spin them around in circles and they throw feces at you. Like they just are so badass. Like they're funny. They're strong. I think they're vegetarian. I think they eat mostly like leaves and twigs and berries, but I feel like if caught in a pinch, they'll eat any of these other animals.
They'll rip your face off and eat it.
you put a gorilla one-on-one with a grizzly bear. Sure, the grizzly bear is stronger and probably more ferocious, but I feel like the gorilla is just gonna be quicker and smarter and just gonna wrestle him to the ground and like suplex him, and then Randy Savage elbow him for the 1, 2, 3. So I wanted to see gorilla win it all.
You know what? That's one thing that I just noticed. And this isn't surprising, but it's not something I was conscious of. But as I thought of this, if I didn't know the results, I would say I think the gorilla would have had the worst shot out of these 4, because I think a lot of things when you're picturing animals that are badass, because the reason they're dangerous is they either have very sharp teeth and mouths, like a great white shark, even tigers. Bears have pretty sharp teeth as well, but like gorillas probably just have like regular human teeth. I think they get like fangs because like there's no gorilla dentists to like shave those down. So I'm sure them biting would also hurt a lot. But like compared to the others, they don't have like that recognizable like they're gonna eat you. Again, like you will get eaten by a grizzly bear, you will get eaten by a tiger if you're dead and it's hungry, and you will get eaten by a shark. A gorilla will not eat you. And then claws. Like sharp, like grizzly bears and tigers just picture they're gonna like slice and like and as strong as the gorillas are, like I don't know if they know about like choking necessarily to kill somebody or like their own raw knockout power. Like they might not. They're strong for sure. Their hands will like grip and maybe like really hurt and like fracture your bones if they rip you around and lasso you around. But like I think our instinctive idea of like what's badass or like these are like the kind of like base fears I think that humans have like from early time, like sharp things, like animals with claws, animals with teeth. And so I think those are like ingrained in our like biology that like these animals are more scary and more badass because they have these things that we have like these natural fears of. So I think it would be hard for gorilla to beat these other three animals that are the same size, but have those things stacked in. I was rooting for, I don't know, I was just rooting for tiger because I felt like I picked it as an overall 1 seed and took a really bold step there. And I was like, I just want to be somewhat, I didn't want it to win. I don't want it to win personally, but I was like, I'll feel like I didn't make a shit pick. So it's like, I was already like, it's in the final 4. That's fine. I didn't think it would win, but I was like, what the heck? Why not tigers? Because for no other reason. So yeah. Tigers versus great white sharks. I was thinking great white would win.
Yeah.
I thought tiger had a chance because it did really well against wolves, and wolves were cruising. But I was like, great white shark is absolutely cruising. And I was like, it beat lion, and I was like, I don't think tiger is that much higher of a league, if at all, than a lion.
Yeah, and I think maybe great white sharks too. Not only are they badass and scary, but like you have to also pair it with the fear of like deep water. Like I would so much rather encounter a tiger in the wild than a great white shark in the ocean, just because the sheer depth and fear of the deep water paired with the shark, no questions asked. But I think great white shark beating the lion was a bigger statement than the tiger beating the wolf.
Yeah.
I think a lion, if a lion wins a bracket like this, you're like, yeah, the lion's really badass. But if a wolf wins a badass animal bracket, they're both 3 seeds, but I think a lion is like
100%. I would not disagree. Yeah, you make a good point.
So great white shark, I think, may have had slightly tougher of a run to get here. So I'm going great white shark.
Yeah, and great white shark did win one of our finalists for most badass animal. So thank God one of the most badass animals lives in the water where we don't spend that much time.
We can avoid it.
But unfortunately, from the other side, grizzly bears and gorillas, they just be walking around out there. One of them's going to the finals of our most badass animal, and they're going to sneak up and come into your backyard and kill you one day.
Yeah,
but,
or your pets. Probably your pets.
Probably your pets, because you're a coward and you will run. And all those people that talk about how much they love animals more than humans, when push comes to shove and it's your own life versus your animal's life, you're like, I'm just kidding.
Well, what's super wild to me is like I always thought like, if I encounter a bear, I could just outrun it. And then you always hear you could never outrun a bear. They're way faster than you. And I always like kind of push back on that. I'm like, really? Like I've never seen a bear run, but like I recently saw a bear running at full speed, and it's like, yeah, that thing gets up to like 30, 35 miles an hour. You are not outrunning a freaking bear. So that I think adds to just like, if you encounter one, you can't climb because it's going to outclimb you. You can't run. It's way faster than you. You just got to either try to fight it or accept your fate. You're dead meat.
Yeah, there is an animal fact. I believe this one is true, that if you do encounter a grizzly bear, you should climb a tree because grizzly bears can't climb trees.
Grizzly bears can't. Okay.
Brown bears can.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'd be able to tell it. Here's another animal fact. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a brown bear and a grizzly bear, but
I think grizzlies are bigger.
Yeah, but brown bears can.
Okay.
So in that case, I don't know, crawl into a hole or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe grizzly bears cannot cannot climb trees. And that is, if possible, maybe your best bet. But I feel like I haven't I feel like I heard that a long time ago, but like the prevailing theory on like if you run into a grizzly bear, it's like play dead because they don't want to. I don't know. They don't enjoy just like slapping around dead corpse as much. They're just supposed to kind of maybe
and they'll just like
fetal
slap you around.
Yeah, and then they'll kind of give up.
Probably like nibble at the back of your. Oh my god, oh my god.
But you're right. I looked at the top running speed of grizzly bears, and of course, like not everything is going to go full speed, but because like a human top speed is not something we can maintain for more than like 100 to 200 meters, you know. But like a top running speed for humans on average is somewhere around 20 to 25 miles an hour when you're full sprint for however long you can do that, 15 to 40 seconds, especially when your life depends on it. So you can hold it for about a minute. But grizzly bears are 35 to 40 miles an hour. So about double your speed.
I don't care if you're what's the one guy who's that really
Bear Grylls?
no, the really famous
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt, yeah, but before him was like Michael Johnson, Donovan Bailey. Remember those two like raced, and Michael Johnson had like a weird injury. Remember that?
Track and field athletes are so weird, or like Olympic athletes in general. There's like such weird stories. It's and like other sports are all year round, and there are like weird stories and stuff like NBA players and MLB players and things like that. Like because those guys are celebrities, it's like stories like this guy's found with a bunch of guns in his car again. He's too immature, and like this guy said something offensive, he's got suspended from the team. But like for the Olympics coming around only every 4 years, the weirdos that are Olympians and their weird stories, you know, it's like the ice skating one where the Nancy Kerrigan and whatever cracked the leg of her, you know, teammate. And then there's, you know, I think they're all just weirdos.
And they don't get paid really. Really love it.
Ryan Lochte and what was it? Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
They seem like weird guys. I once wrote a really offensive joke about Ryan Lochte.
Do it.
I know, because I think it uses a word that people wouldn't want anymore, or it implies that. You know what? It said like, oh yeah, it was like a joke about. There's like that common joke that like, you know, anytime you don't think you're special, you were the fastest swimmer in your sperm because you're the one that became born. I was like, you know, at the end of the day, we were all of us should consider ourselves really successful because we're all basically the Michael Phelps of our sperm, except for like really dumb people. They're the Ryan Lochtes. I actually don't think I used the bad word there.
Bad words.
No, I was worried I used one word, but I don't think I did even in the tweet joke from years ago when Ryan Lochte and Michael Phelps were relevant. People are like, who are you talking about? Grizzly bears versus gorillas. Grizzly bears, very scary. We talked about them. Don't run from them. Gorillas, they're badass. You know, they're badass in a slightly different way. A lot of their badassery comes from being more similar to us and just wanting to like, if you'd be a gorilla, you're just like a superhuman. You're a Ryan Lochte.
Well, I think like the strongest humans become the strongest humans because they like work out, they exercise, they like lift as much weight. Never seen a gorilla at full strength because they train, you know.
Oh my god!
So imagine if you had a gorilla. They could probably fashion some kind of like branch.
Oh, I love it! Oh my god, what would be the name of the like franchise gym for gorillas?
The Gorilla Press.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Oh man. Primate. Prime power. Oh yeah. Well, so I don't know. Well, gorillas versus grizzly bears. You were pulling for gorillas. Like I said, had I not known the results and thought of that thing about sharp things, I would have been like, I don't think they have a chance.
Yeah.
And I figured it was going to be grizzly bears versus great whites. It wasn't. Gorillas won. Gorillas pulled that upset in my mind. A little bit of an upset.
I think it was an upset because I think the grizzly bear, if I'm being fair, the grizzly bear would take a gorilla in a fight but I would be rooting like hell for the gorilla. I don't know why. This is the thing.
Yeah.
It's maybe that like I feel like they're more human. They're closer kin.
So here we are, our finals. We also had 3 animals that also had G in the final 4: great white gorilla, grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Interesting. But our finals continued that G trend: great white sharks, the preds of the ocean, versus gorillas, the basically super strength versions of what we could become if we all hit the gym more.
Yeah.
So if you imagine the world's strongest humans going up against great white sharks, who would win? Yeah, I would probably think great white sharks is still gonna take them. But to me, like, maybe if we were all mer people and we all lived in the ocean, I would be like, yeah, the most badass animal should be something that lives in the ocean because we live in the ocean and like that's cool.
Yeah.
But to me, like, I think the most badass animal should also be something that has to live on land and isn't so different. It's cheating.
Okay.
You have less competition in the ocean. Look at all these animals that are badass on land. Grizzlies, tigers, lions, elephants, rhinos, wolves, hippos.
Yeah.
Great white doesn't have a lot of competition down there. You turn some of these animals into, catfish, catfish of prey, a tiger with fins and tails. Like, now great white shark's got some competition.
Well, they do have tiger sharks.
They do have tiger sharks. That's true.
They got,
that's true. But they all just got different sharks.
Yeah, different sharks. Yeah, killer whales.
But like
badass. Beluga whale.
Yeah.
Sperm whale.
A lot of whales. Yeah.
A lot of whales.
A lot of whales.
Sharks. Not too many like barracudas, I think, eels.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
That's totally fair.
To each elephant, there's a blue whale.
There is.
So, and sharks. Yeah. So, any other thoughts before we reveal who won the most badass animal?
No. I'm all right revealing this. I think everybody's ready.
Are we ready?
Unless you got one final thing.
I got nothing.
All right. Well, we've got our big 6 wins check here. Mm-hmm. It's ready.
Yeah.
One of these animals is the most badass animal of all time, and it's an incontrovertible fact once this is announced. And we have a check here for an amount that this animal will be happy with.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider Donkey Kong a gorilla?
Yeah.
Yeah, Donkey Kong's amazing.
Donkey Kong's a gorilla.
Gorillas love Donkey Kongs love bananas. I don't know if gorillas actually do. I think they do.
I think they do. I think they open them from the bottom.
No way.
Yeah, they do. Gorillas, they open bananas from the bottom. So I started doing that.
That is the most badass thing right there.
It's actually easier to you wouldn't think, but you just kind of put a little pressure and it splits open and then you just peel it. It comes out in 2 every single time.
And it's way easier to kind of hold.
Yeah.
From the little stem.
Uh-huh.
Instead of holding from that bottom part where you're like, well, I want to eat this at some point.
Yeah, you want to hold the actual banana.
Yeah.
You want to hold the peel.
Yeah.
So you don't get banana.
Wow.
You want to be banana hands.
If I voted for great white shark, I'd take back my vote.
Gorilla?
I'm going gorilla.
I'm going gorilla too.
I'm going gorilla.
All right. So the winner of the most badass animal bracket was the great white shark.
Oh, the great white shark.
Congratulations to the great white shark. You are the most badass animal. Sorry, we got the light on it. Oh, I think it's it's backwards.
It might be forwards to you.
Yeah, hopefully it's forward to you. But it does say great white shark. You get $250, 250 Australian dollars for being the most badass animal. Brought to you by 6 Wins. So we got another bracket in the books. That was a fun one. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Just a question that we've always pondered. What's the most badass animal? And now we know the answer. It's the great white shark.
And we will deliver those 250 Australians, dead or alive, to an ocean of your choice. Mm-hmm. But it is confirmed we will be killing 250 Australian people.
And do all great white sharks get, or just one?
Just one.
Lucky one.
One. With 250 and y'all come up and pick away.
Yeah, you're all welcome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, keep checking us out. We're doing the worst things bracket right now. That's been a lot of fun.
We should have put 6 Wins on there.
On what?
Not the worst things. I'm just
that'd been hilarious.
To see if people hate us. secretly.
Let's do it. Let's throw it in a triple threat.
So
You
Joel,
guys, yeah.
what's the worst thing? Secondhand smoke,
Pedophiles.
freezing weather, or 6 wins? Be like 6 wins. They're like, well then, all right, fine, fuck you.
You know what? My wife and I do this sometimes. It's funny to okay. When am I officially giving you the finger?
I think all fingers have to be down.
Is this the finger?
No, I would say
Not
no.
yet.
No.
That's the thing. Come on.
That looks a lot like it.
It's gotta be
Yeah, I think
it's like-
once your middle knuckles on all other fingers are bent. So not the top
Okay.
knuckle, because you can like bend these. If you could just bend these knuckles, which I can't do.
Well, then what about like
Can you
this?
do
Is that a finger?
I think they have to be bent at a 45-degree angle.
45.
45
Okay.
middle knuckle, and then I would
Mhm.
consider it officially the middle finger. That is a scientific fact, in my opinion.
All right. All right. Well, we're coming up an hour and a half. That was
90
that was
minutes.
a good up.
It's slightly shorter than a football match, soccer match.
Yeah. So, well, thanks everybody. See you later.